Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So in today's video, I'll be reviewing or giving my synopsis on the new Netflix movie Falling for Christmas. So stay tuned for that and just keep on watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share. When I heard that the queen herself, Lindsay Lohan, was coming out with a Christmas movie, I was one, shocked, but two, more so glad because of the girls, Miss Lindsay Lohan, because we miss her, we love her. And so in my mind, when I saw the trailer, I was thinking Christmas movie, Hallmark-esque type. Movie with a typical plot story. Either a wealthy girl loses her money and she has to survive with normal lifestyle while simultaneously falling in love with a normal person. Two, she could have some type of freak accident where she falls and gets hit with something and loses her memory, and she has to find ways of getting her memory back. And three, the typical parent died when he or she was young, depending on the main character. And the Christmas was the parents' favorite holiday. And yeah. You get the idea where I'm going. But this, if you ever seen a Hallmark movie or like a Hallmark rendition or like Hallmark off-brand or a off-brand Hallmark movie. I stand corrected. Based on the quoted Netflix plot, after losing her memory in the skiing accident, a spoiled Harris lands in the cozy care of a down-on-his-luck widower and his daughter at Christmas time. Honestly, I was surprised at this plot, but not really surprised at all. But hey, I did watch the movie because I was very curious about it. But you know, it's a Christmas movie. It gives you something to do while you're on Christmas break from work or school or whatever. Okay, so the movie begins with Lindsay being welcomed by a wake-up call. You know, the typical wake-up call with a person calling you saying, hey, your assistant's here, your breakfast here type thing, you know. And basically it's showing a bunch of different montages of the rich lifestyle of Lindsay with her expensive winter clothes and outfits and cars. Of course, she's being pampered with the finest clothes, wine, glam squad, and a personal assistant by her rich father. Of course, she has to have an assistant, because what rich girl doesn't have an assistant? She got to keep balance about her needs and wants. Days later, there's a scene where she's getting pampered in her hotel room by her glam squad, and she was on the phone with her rich boyfriend. I don't know if her boyfriend was one of the girls, like, you get what I mean, or he just has very feminine ways and has a weird accent, like he's faking it for bragging rights or something, because it's kind of weird how he talks throughout the movie, and like he tends to switch his accents a lot, which I don't know what that's all about. But if it helps him sleep at night, by all means go ahead. But apparently he's the annoying influencer. To me, that's a red flag number one. If you're gonna be an influencer, at least not be annoying. You can be calm and cool and collected, be like, oh yeah, I'm an influencer. But if you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta post 200 times a day, I gotta share every little thing, every little second of my followers, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, that's annoying. So that was red flag number one for me. That was just bothering me throughout the movie, to be honest. Okay, so after Lindsay, or Sierra, that's her name in the movie, Sierra, so I'm gonna call her Lindsay just to be easy on me. So she gets dressed, she's running down throughout the hotel lobby and trying to find her boyfriend, and of course she finds him at first, and she runs into our new character called Jake. And apparently Jake has spilled either a latte or coffee on her outfit, and she was like screaming about it.
I'm wearing Vlogmas. Oh my god!
I am so sorry, I didn't see you there.
My Vlogmas!
Then so after that whole incident happened, even though she's kind of being more dramatic, about it, because it was just a dress, but I get it's an expensive dress, but the boyfriend, he was more concerned about the outfit than her safety. And honestly, that's red flag number 1.5, because like, why are you more concerned about the dress and not her? But I'm gonna move on. So while at the hotel, of course the father owns the lodge. They were having breakfast, and the waiter had asked her, would she like some bacon or something like that? So apparently Lizzie doesn't eat bacon for some reason. Maybe it's a foreshadow or something, I don't know. Probably something later on in the movie, but to me, bacon is delicious, and I love bacon, and I want it on everything I can possibly eat. But if it helps her be a skinny mini, a skinny legend, a skinny girl, then by all means go ahead. Don't eat the bacon. And then some few scenes They go back and forth. Apparently the dad doesn't really know much about the influencer boyfriend. Like, he knows she's dating him and whatnot, but like, it's giving like, I really don't care for him, I'd rather you date somebody else, but he doesn't admit it to her. That's what the vibe is kind of getting from throughout the movie. Of course, some scenes go by with them, and then we approach our second main character, who is Jake. Of course, he went up to the Lindsay's, Sierra's father's lodge to try to buy a part of the company, or at least try to collab with the company. And of course, the dad who tries to buy part of the company has a mixed child that comes to save the Christmas tradition. Plus, they always have a child with a missing mother. Like, it's either missing mother or father, because she's either dead or she just didn't want to be part of the life. I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. They didn't really talk about them, how the mother died, or like what she died from. They just said she's dead, she gone, she dead. They cut to a scene where the dad sees an angel, a Christmas tree topper, and it reminds him of his dead wife because his wife is dead. Of course, Lindsay has the same storyline, a dead mother. She picks up a snow globe while talking with her dad, and it reminds her of her mother and how she misses her. Okay, so moving on to some later scenes. The boyfriend and Lindsay decide to go up to the mountains. Well, more so the boyfriend was trying to convince Lizzie to be more adventurous and go up to the mountains to do God knows what. And she ends up falling off a cliff after her boyfriend tries to propose to her, because apparently some like heavy snow, like wind, ended up blowing her off the cliff. It was low-key kind of funny watching her fall, but it wasn't funny at the same time. Okay, so continuing the movie, there was a scene where the grandma and the daughter was writing wishes on a Christmas ornament to hang up on the tree. I guess that's like a traditional thing they do together every holiday. And they had a magical Santa, you know, they always have like some form of like Santa Claus in there that looks like a normal person, but it's really Santa, you know. And to make the daughter's wish come true. What wish is that? We don't know as an audience, but from what it seems like, she wants her dad to find the love of his life, or somebody he can spend the rest of his life with. So back to Sierra and Todd. Todd is the boyfriend of Sierra, the annoying influencer. So Sierra and Todd fell off the cliff after the snow started picking up the mountain, and for some reason, Jake, in a different scene, Jake was giving a couple a tour around the area on a sleigh. So they ended up seeing Sierra laid out on the ground near a tree. Jake had saw the dead body and stopped to check it out, but you guessed it, it was Sierra, because she's the one who fell off the cliff. She tumbled, she did gymnastics, she did flips and backflips off that mountain, and she hit her head on that tree. Of course, in Hallmark-esque fashion, she loses her memory because she fell off the mountain and hit her head like a dodo bird. Okay, so there's an opening scene while she's at the hospital, and I was very confused as to why her hair still looked flawless after falling off the mountain. What is your hair care routine? I want to know the products, the ways you did it, how you did it, how you're able to maintain that, because your hair still looked good after falling. She wakes up from in the hospital all confused and stuff, trying to figure out what happened, what went down, what's going on. And Jake, of course, was there to support her and tell her what happened. And the nurse and the I guess like a police officer type was basically telling her, hey, since you don't remember your name, where you're from and stuff, you can either stay at the hospital, or you can find somebody to come help pick you up and take you home. And she was like, well, I don't have anybody, or I don't know where to stay. And she's still in the mindset of her like, oh, do they have bed and breakfast? Do they have this? Do they have that? Like that rich lifestyle, like people pampering her. And the nurse at the hospital was like, no, we don't have that, but you gotta go. And so Jake offered in Hallmark-esque fashion to stay at his lodge, because he's the owner of his own small lodge. And he offered her a place to stay, and she accepts. And because who wants to stay at a hospital during Christmas? Because that's kind of boring and sad, to be honest. Okay, so back to Todd, you know, the annoying influencer I told you about earlier. So apparently Todd was, you know, instead of, you know, going searching for help, you know, being like, where's my girlfriend, where's this, where's that, he decided to vlog his experience of falling off the mountain, telling his followers what happened, how it happened, everything. Like an idiot, but thank God his phone died, because who would have vlogged their experience of you falling off a cliff, having near-death experience? Like what possessed you to do that? Todd ends up, you know, being sad because his phone died. He ended up walking a couple of miles around the mountains to find like a place to stay. So he ended up finding this random home in the mountains, and it ended up being a fisherman's home. And so who apparently doesn't love technology or cell phones, like nothing dealing with technology or computers. So he ended up staying with that fisherman's house, and for how long, we don't know how long, but for a couple of days. All right, so back at Jake's lodge, Sierra finally wakes up thinking it was a dream, but to her surprise, it was all reality. Sierra meets the daughter, and of course they exchange words and get to know each other better. The daughter gives Sierra the name Sarah because of a teddy bear named Sarah, because Ava, the daughter, has a teddy bear. Well, she has multiple teddy bears, but one of them is named Sarah. So she gave her the name Sarah, which is closely named to Sierra. So, okay, yeah. So, of course, Sarah sees the picture of the daughter's dead mom. And, of course, they bond with each other because both of their mothers are being dead. Because she died, because she's dead. Because both of their mothers are dead and gone. Like, dead, died, dead. You got it? Okay. Okay, so apparently there's a scene in the movie where Jake had asked Sarah, I'm gonna call her Sarah from now on, or Lindsay, so y'all kind of get the idea. So Sarah went downstairs to go have breakfast, and Jake was like, oh, you want me to cook you breakfast? And she's like, no, I got it. And you know, have this whole like comic relief scene of her trying to make breakfast for herself, even though she can't cook, because you know, people do it for her. And so Jake told her, like, just go sit down, I got it. And you remember how earlier I told you about how Sarah doesn't eat bacon? Well, she eats bacon now, and she loves bacon for some reason.
Bacon?
I don't do bacon. I like bacon.
In the movie, they had like this small montage of Lindsay trying to do normal things like cook, clean, do her own makeup, her own hair, like clean the toilet and stuff like that. You know, the little typical normal stuff non-rich people do, but that's something your mother or father taught you at a young age, and I don't know, the basics to life within itself. But they show a montage of that, you know, her messing up and the grandmother just standing back watching and laughing, of course. And then eventually Jake got frustrated and got angry and started like yelling, but he wasn't yelling. It was like that quiet yelling, like he was yelling but he wasn't yelling, if you get what I'm trying to say. And he basically tells Lindsay that how she keeps messing up, and of course Lindsay got upset and storms off and cries. And the son, you know, Jake felt bad, and you know, the whole Hallmark plot of, the whole Hallmark plot of her saying nobody understands me, I lost my memory, yada yada yada. And of course the son overhears her talking about it, how nobody understands her because she lost her memory and stuff. And then later she ends up grabbing some wood for some reason. I don't know why she grabbed some wood, but she ended up grabbing some wood and ended up falling off these like little baby steps. Like, girl, just grab onto the railing and carry the wood in the other hand so you won't fall. But you know, she ended up falling, and of course Jake came to see if she was okay. They ended up talking, have a conversation, and Jake ended up apologizing. Jake ended up apologizing to her after the whole argument, the whole situation about her messing up. Jake ended up inviting her to a Christmas light festival. He ends up bringing his daughter as well, Ava. They go to a Christmas lighting festival thingy. Jake buys her a snow globe, which you remember earlier that it reminds her of her mother. And they go out to watch Christmas lighting festival and sing Christmas music together. Back at the lodge, yes, Christmas together. And you know how in like the Hallmark movies, they always go back to like the main two characters. They always go back and they just tell each other how, oh, I haven't met a person like you before, or I haven't met a guy or girl like you before. And you know, they do like, they stare at each other flirtatiously but then walk off like nothing happened. You know, the whole sentimental stuff. The next day, they make breakfast together and sing Christmas carols by the fire. It's so cute, but like, we get it, it's Christmas, you know? Side note, I noticed that throughout this whole entire movie, it's full of montages of them like doing stuff, like as a family. I get it, they're trying to make her seem like she's like one of them, but like it's like the montages, let it go. I have different montages of them like cooking, like making puzzle, Christmas carols, singing, making gingerbread houses together. And there was this one scene where Jake had threw some marshmallows at the little girl so hard, like, is he playing baseball or something? Because like this dude need to calm down, because there's no reason why you threw dumb marshmallows that hard at that little girl. Like, you had some built up anger inside of you when you threw them. Okay, so we're 50 minutes into the movie. I know this movie is short but long at the same time. Of course, they show another montage of them skiing and, you know, falling all over the place, laughing, joking around and stuff. And there was this particular scene of Jake and Sarah falling at the same time, but they ended up falling at the same time and looking at each other and, you know, being all flirty or whatever. Later on in the lodge, Sarah sees the grandmother crying and reminiscing about the family, because she has a family memory book about all the moments and like fun activities they used to do as a family when the dead mother was alive. The grandmother started crying because she misses her daughter. The grandmother says that it might be the last Christmas at the lodge because nobody's making reservations, nobody's booking like stays at the lodge. And Lindsay goes to put the memory book back, but ends up finding the angel that was in the drawer Jake had earlier in the movie. But Jake ended up finding her holding the angel, and he tells her he's not ready to put it up. He doesn't want to get rid of it yet. You know, it's very sentimental to him and stuff. And, you know, they have that little moment with them. But then after they have that moment with the angel, you can tell Jake was getting very emotional about it. So he tried to like change the topic or the subject. So he invites Sarah to a toy drive and helps like wrapping gifts, even though she's not used to doing stuff on her own. She didn't know how to wrap presents and stuff. She didn't do like the best job at wrapping gifts. And of course, Jake had to show Lizzie or Sarah how to wrap gifts properly. And they did like a whole like comical scene of him showing how to wrap gifts and stuff. Okay, so some scenes went by and Sarah gets the idea of having a North Star Lodge fundraiser or like a festival type thing. And of course, Jake doesn't think it's a good idea, but...
Absolutely not.
What? Yes, we'll ask for a donation. But what's the big deal?
The big deal is I live in Summit Springs, okay? I don't want people looking at me differently. I don't want them thinking I need a handout.
Okay, so Jake didn't like the idea. They bantered a little bit, and Jake had said something to Lizzie saying how, what does she know about having memories when you barely remember yours? Like, what are you doing? What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to mess up what I'm trying to do? I got this. And, you know, of course, Lindsay was all hurt about it. Yeah, of course, Lindsay was all butthurt about it. Like, who wouldn't be? Like, you joking about my accident. Don't joke about my accident. I can joke about your accident, but you can't joke about mine. Let's not do this here. But yeah. And honestly, I think Jake is a psychopath because he's mad because she was trying to help him out. I'm trying to help you out, sir. And you're going to get mad at me and then you're going to turn around and feel bad for hurting my feelings. Don't do that. And then he confessed her love to her. How you go from mad to sad to falling in love? Like, how you go through those three emotions in 30 seconds? Like, make it make sense. And then, of course, he's giving, like, red flag. Like, so Lindsay and the family put the angel up together. But to be honest, how can the child Avy, or Ivy, I think her name is Avy. Avy can't tell where to put the angel when the girl is really short and the tree is like 8,000 feet tall. And she's like 3 feet. She's like 3 foot tall and the tree is like 8 foot tall. Like, make it make sense. But hey, whatever floats your boat. But at the same time, that angel on top of that tree, she was giving crooked, she was leaning. It was not cute at all, and it was not in the middle. Just to let y'all know, it was not in the middle. Again, they show another montage of the family getting the Christmas fundraisers together, you know, organizing and everything, make sure everything's to a T. Like, they want everything to be perfect, and that's on period. But yeah. So you remember how I told y'all earlier about the boyfriend, right? Yeah, so he lived his best life, living on the edge with the fisherman, lol. It's kind of funny because, you know, he's like stranded, but not really stranded, but he's like trying to survive like a normal person, and you can tell he like hates it, but like low-key enjoys it at the same time. Some scenes went by, and the dad finds out his daughter has been missing for 4 days, and he asks the people to go look for his daughter. Side note, if you know your son or daughter has been missing or haven't spoken to you in several hours, wouldn't you be worried regardless of her age? Because in the movie she plays, I think, like a 20s, late 20s, early 30s role. So regardless of her age, wouldn't you be worried about your son or daughter missing for more than several hours? I mean, I would, if I really care about my son or daughter. But apparently he doesn't care, even though he tells her he cares. I feel like he don't care. I feel like he just don't want to be bothered no more. That's what I'm picking up, but you know, that just could be me, you know, being me. North Star Lodge fundraiser, they make drinks. Okay, so Todd or Tad, I'm gonna call him Todd, but his name in the movie is Tad, but I'm gonna call him Todd. Todd is reunited with the father, Sarah's father, and he goes to look for his daughter and whatnot. They go looking for her and search for her and see where she is, you know, all that great stuff. Okay, and then coming back to the scene of Sarah and Jake and Avi at the North Star fundraiser. So Lizzie comes down the stairs with a beautiful red dress. I mean, gorgeous red dress. It was very cute, but she ended up putting on this gold like jacket, and it was giving nursing home. It was giving nursing home outfit. But to be honest, I like the Christmas party. Like, it was giving nursing home. So like, it was like a Christmas party at a bingo hall. That's what it's giving. It's giving nursing home, bingo party. Yeah, so that's what it's giving, if you ask me. So Jackie and Lizzie slow dance in the lodge area, and they're about to kiss, but they get interrupted by the guests coming in, because earlier Jake was like, I don't think people are gonna come, I don't think people are gonna show up, but they ended up showing up anyway to ruin that special moment between him and Lindsay, or Sarah. Okay, and then of course they had to put in another montage, so they basically make a short montage of people who used to stay at the lodge over the years, basically saying their favorite memories and what brought them together, and everyone gives him a check. Like, they write him a check. They didn't say the amount, but based on his facial expression, it's kind of like a large amount, and each person gave him like a check or whatever. So this next scene is a lot. Like, I'm gonna run this down. A lot happened within this 10 minutes. Like, it's a lot happened. Okay, so number 1, Todd and his father bust through the door and finally reunites with Sarah. 2, she remembers Todd and her father. 3, Jake and the son didn't realize that Sarah was Sierra, the daughter of the famous lodge Belmont. 4, she remembers everybody, and Todd gives her the ring from earlier because he proposed in the movie, saying how the ring was too big and that it made her fall off the cliff. 5, she remembers the accident and how she ended up at the lodge. And then Sierra, of course, goes back to the hotel and goes home and back to that rich lifestyle she had, and she knows she loves, and what she used to having. Okay, and then they cut to the next scene. They show a scene similar to the beginning of the movie, but in bed she has flashbacks of what happened at the time of the lodge and how it made her feel. Later, the glam squad came in and give her the schedule for the day, but she decides to tell them she wants her day to be simple and not to be so pampered, so like holding her hand type thing. Okay, so the glam squad and everybody around her was very confused as to why she's doing stuff on her own, like making up her bed, cooking her own breakfast, and simply wearing like a simple outfit and not the glamorous, gorgeous outfit the fashion like assistant helped her with. Even though that dress was very ugly, like that just looked a hot mess. Like, what made her, like what possessed her to get that outfit? Cause she knows herself the outfit was ugly. I don't even know why she picked that outfit. It's the morning at the lodge. Jake and the family open Christmas gifts, and Jake is still worried about the lodge and how they need like a Christmas miracle. But Sierra had a press conference and told everybody to stay at the North Star Lodge, and guess what? Everybody ended up booking reservations and staying at the lodge, and that kind of helped them stay open for the rest of the year, or for however long they wanted to stay open. The mixed child of the movie, Ava, the daughter, with the dead mother. She said she didn't get her Christmas wish, and of course the father Jake asked what was it, and she said,
I wish for you to find someone to love. You take such good care of all of us. I just wanted you to have someone take care of you too.
I'm not surprised. Isn't she like 10 years old? Why a 10-year-old trying to play matchmaker? I'm confused. You should be worried about getting that Barbie doll or them little puffy stickers or something. She need to worry about that instead of playing matchmaker. I don't know what she's trying to do, but you're 10 years old. Calm down. Okay, so Jake and the daughter goes outside and find a sleigh that they saw earlier in the movie and at the Christmas light festival, that whole scene, and was confused on who bought it for them. But the daughter didn't care. She just was decided to get a sleigh for Christmas. Apparently that was her Christmas, was a sleigh and not being a matchmaker. I was wrong. Okay, and so back at the Belmont Lodge, Sierra and her dad have a heartfelt conversation before she leaves with the annoying influencer to go God knows where, because like they always traveling. And she ends up giving him the ring back to the boyfriend, basically saying they're not right for each other. And let me tell y'all something. This scene what ended it all for me. This what almost made me turn off the movie.
Do you mind if I post about this on my page? My followers will love it. Nothing like a breakup to really add to your numbers.
Oh, you're not concerned about her sadness? So you're not concerned about her sadness of the breakup? You're more concerned about your followers, telling your followers you had this whole big breakup, the engagement is off, and your followers are more concerned than her? Red flag number 3. That was it for me. I would have been done. But of course, oh, and let me tell you something, what else was the kicker? Even though we already knew, but to the people who didn't know or wasn't obvious to them, you know how earlier I said that the boyfriend might be one of the girls, like one of the sisters?
And happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.
I was right. I was totally right. I knew from the start. I'm a genius. Like, I know these things. Like the radar, it went off. Like it went off, but then it went off, but then it went back off, and then it went on. And then it definitely went on again. And then never went off. But I knew. So Jake ends up going to the Belmont Lounge to find Sierra to basically tell her how he feels about her, like, and confessing his love to her, even though he already did it earlier. He's gonna do it again, like, just to prove himself, like, you know. But while confessing his love, he kept making fun of her, how she lost her memory, and I was like, oh, that was red flag number 2. But I'm gonna let it slide because he was nice, somewhat. And while confessing his love to Sierra or Lindsay, he was basically thanking her about bringing the business back to the lodge and how that helped him, you know, produce more money to make more reservations, more hotel like lodge rooms and stuff, you know, help the family out. And then he ended off with a sweet little kiss under the mistletoe, even though Lindsay threw across the room, but that's none of my business. And then soon after they kiss, the family reunites. The grandmother and father finally finds Jake and Sierra and finally reunites with them around the Christmas tree, and that was the end of the movie. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed my synopsis about the movie Fall for Christmas. Honestly, I give this movie out of 5 stars. I probably give it I give it a 4. I really enjoyed this movie, surprisingly. It was nice seeing Lindsay Lohan perform again, you know, in her acting spot that she always does. And I really enjoyed the movie, even though it's like a short Christmas movie, but it was still something to watch. I'll probably put it on like the background if I have nothing else to watch, or just to simply put on a Christmas movie. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.